Women, please come. Aligned love is gonna challenge you, but it is not gonna wound your essence. Nothing burns my ass more than waking up and the first thing being on my timeline is a male centered woman who has had to fragment herself to please, appease, save, or even become digestible to men. There is nothing wrong with wanting sacred divine union. There is nothing wrong with wanting your desires to be met. But our conditioning and our previous trauma that we're holding from lineages of women has caused us to show up in a way that's not authentic to us, which means we're never gonna get to where we're going. We're constantly going to miss the mark. So let's talk about this for a second. The first thing that I want to discuss is that society rewards us for the external version of us, the way we look, the way we dress, the way we wear our hair, but it suppresses the internal version of us. Anytime that we try to show up intuitively, or we try to express our wisdom, or we try to express our emotions, we are suppressed. So that conditions us to believe that suppression is peace. And if we're going to survive in this environment, then we need to suppress. So that means in order for us to survive, we have to show up as a masked version. We cannot show up as our true authentic self. And the more that you mask, the less of yourself you become. 2, society forces us to choose between nurturing and needing. Women are taught to prioritize everybody's needs in front of their own. I'm talking the children, the husband, the causes in society, while simultaneously suppressing what we actually need, rest, and sometimes rage because it's rightfully earned. Everybody around this bitch could be mad, but not us. We're conditioned to be nice at all times. Otherwise, we'll be shamed or ridiculed. Those 2 things alone disconnect us from ourselves, disconnect us from spirit, disconnect us from our intuition. And now we become reliant on other people to tell us stuff because we're trying to appease everybody else. So then we start moving throughout the world seeking that external validation, acknowledging everybody else's value while dismissing our own. We're not allowed to be soft and strong. We're not allowed to give and have boundaries. We are not allowed to be beautiful and express rage. We're not allowed to be sacred and sexual. We're not allowed to be seen and heard. We are constantly being forced to pick one or the other, which means we're constantly being told that we got to show up as parts of us and not the whole thing, which means we'll never find divine union. Because divine union is 2 whole sovereign beings coming together. It's not about being perfect. It's not about completing each other. It's not about fixing each other. Your partner is not supposed to meet your physical and emotional needs. You are supposed to meet your physical and emotional needs. They are supposed to match your soul's frequency. You are not meant to be managed. You are meant to be met, which means you have to know who you are and honor yourself in order for you to be met where you are. Because if you don't know who you are, you go into these situations and you can be manipulated, you can be coerced, you can be molded and shaped into a version of yourself that is so far away from yourself that you continue to abandon yourself for other people, your happiness, your peace, your desires. When we heal, they will have no other choice but to heal, because nothing moves in this realm without us. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that it's women's job to fix everything, but I've only lived this experience as a woman, so I'm only qualified to speak from the perspective of a woman. I cannot tell men what they can do. All I know is our young girls need help, and I'm trying to help in the best way that I know how. Now, it's evident that we have lost trust in the masculine, and we are valid in the way that we feel about that. However, it's caused us to show up in specific ways that we need to discuss a little bit. We have a group of women who have hardened or they have detached because they're trying to survive the disappointment. We have a group of women who overextend themselves to try to avoid abandonment. And we also have a group of women who dim themselves because so many people have told them that they are too much. None of those things are going to get us to where we actually want to be. And not only that, none of them work. So that means we have to choose differently, because choices are activation keys. They open up new timelines. How do you know if you need to make another choice? You're living in pain and suffering. Pain and suffering isn't a bad thing. It's telling you you've reached your boundary. You need to make another choice. Otherwise, you're always going to feel like this. So what choices do we have? Well, the first thing that I would start doing is the opposite of what they tell us to do. You need to start honoring your inner self in your emotional world. You need to start listening to your intuition. The easiest way to start that is to pay attention to your body. Your body is 90% of who you are. Your body knows before your mind can catch up. Your mind is going to be your worst enemy because it's the part of you that wants to survive this reality, so it leans towards predictability. It gets scared when things start to change. And it starts gaslighting you until you choose comfort over happiness, comfort over joy. You need to listen to your body, and your body communicates to you through emotions, where your mind communicates to you through thought. So when you go into these experiences, you need to see how they make you feel. If you are experiencing positive emotions, that's a yes, move towards it. But if you are experiencing negative emotions, that's a no, move away from it. Confusion is a no. You're not meant to figure out why something happened, because that keeps you stuck in the trauma loop. You are meant to figure out what happened so you can set an appropriate boundary, and every time that shows up, you say no. You need to be saying no way more than you say yes. Your yes is sacred. You should only say yes to things that are aligned. So what I would do is I would stop committing to things in the moment. Always say, I need to think about it. I need to sleep on it. Don't let no one shame or guilt you into making a decision fast, because you need to feel into your body and make the decision from your body and not your mind. When you get an intuitive hunch about something, do not question it. Just go with it. Radically trust yourself. People can trick you with their words, they can trick you with what they show you, but they can never trick you with how they make you feel. Now, I'm not saying don't communicate and just cut everybody off. There are exceptions to the rule. But if somebody makes you feel a type of way, the way that I approach it is I always tell people how they made me feel, because I know that that's the only true thing in the scenario. Everything else that I get from how I feel is an assumption. So this is how you made me feel. Was that your intention? And then I let them tell me what their intention was without an assumption, just so we're clear. If I experience a positive emotion, that's a yes, I stay in community. But if I experience a negative emotion, I'm gone. Simple. I gave you an opportunity to be accountable. Either you did that or you didn't. I gave you an opportunity to hold space for how I felt and hold compassion, empathy, and sympathy for me. Either you did or you didn't. But none of that comes before you know yourself. You have to look at the previous versions of yourself. What did you like? What didn't you like? Keep the things you like. Get rid of the things you didn't. Look at your past relationships. What did you like about those people? What didn't you like about those people? Look for in other people the things that you liked about those people. Write out a boundary for the things that you did not like. Those are going to be your deal breakers. And you don't want to wait for them to show up for you to figure out what the boundary is. You need to have it in your back pocket, locked and loaded. Stop prioritizing everybody's needs in front of your own. If you don't have it, you don't give it. Proper care and support for other people is built on the foundation of self-love. You need to love yourself in so much abundance that you have an overflow and you pouring into everybody's cup from your overflow. But you should never pour into somebody's cup from your cup. If they don't ask, you don't offer. If they do ask yourself, would you do it 10 times over? And if the answer is no, say no. If it has to do with money, if you don't have 3 times that in your bank account, don't give it. And only give what you're willing to lose. Be kind, don't be nice. Nice is you suppressing how you actually feel to appease somebody else. Kind still has truth in it. You can be kind and tell someone no. But being nice is you going against your intuition. Empathy is best used with discernment. It is okay for you to understand why somebody behaves the way that they behave, but it's not okay for you to stay around and be at the detriment to their dysfunction or to tolerate abuse. If you burn your hand on that stove, next time put on a mitten. Because the opposite is you doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, and I think they call that insanity. Trust yourself first. Everybody else has to earn your trust. That means when you get an idea about something, don't call your friend on the phone and see how they feel about it. The vision was given to you because it was meant for you to execute, not them. Trust your opinion before you trust the opinion of other people. You are the most qualified person to figure out what to do with your life, because only you have lived all of your experiences. Why are you calling somebody who's on the outside looking in to tell you what to do? Check in with your body. Go with whatever you think is going to make you the happiest. But you also need to be constantly seeking and experiencing joy, because joy is a sacred force that weaves light through the distortion. You have to actually enjoy the life that you live. So anything that is not bringing you enjoyment, do something differently. Go after it radically. Trust yourself to guide yourself. And you're never going to get anywhere in life trying to please everybody. The only person that you need to please is yourself. The only person that you need to prove something to is yourself. So I say all of that to say this. If that man knows that you are in the vicinity and he chooses to do something in your face, it's because he doesn't see your value. So you walking up and snatching him away is proving to him that you see his value, but you don't see your own. Get out of that fixing and saving energy and get into the observant energy. As he is right now, is he aligned? Yes or no? And then move accordingly. At all times, you need to be honoring and dignifying yourself. You are not being picked, you are doing the picking.